At some point, you're going to be leading a discussion in your small group. You're going to ask a question, and somebody's going to give an answer that's not quite right. Now, there might be a couple of reasons for a faulty answer like that. First, they may simply misunderstand the question, but a person might also share something that's just faulty from a biblical doctrine perspective. And so here's some suggestions about how to handle a bad answer when it happens in your group. First of all, don't embarrass anyone. No one likes to be wrong. No one likes to be called out in public, and chances are the members of your group are not trying to be heretics. So however you do answer their answer, see if you can affirm whatever you can, affirm their participation, affirm some insight about something they said, but also try to shield them from embarrassment. Now, one thing you can do is you can blame the way the question was worded, or you can blame the way you set up the question. And in fact, the truth is often the questions could be worded better. But the point is, find a way to not embarrass someone in your group in front of the other members of the group. Now, here's a second suggestion. You don't always have to correct someone at that moment. Many times the rest of the group will know that the person simply didn't understand the question, or they'll know that they're new and they don't have a lot of biblical background knowledge. And so one thing you can do is kind of let the group correct itself. And I will ask a question like, hey, does anybody else have an insight on this topic? Or what do the rest of you think about that? And that way it lets the group kind of move the conversation forward by itself. Now, you don't have to correct every tiny error that someone makes. So, for example, if someone says that it was Abraham who led the Israelites out of Egypt, you don't have to halt the whole group to correct them, let them know it was Moses. That's not worth it. The group can kind of pick up on that, and you'll probably have an opportunity later maybe to subtly correct that in the ensuing conversation. So a lot of times you don't really have to correct somebody, but there are times it will arise when you really do, and because it's a major error. And so here's the third principle: to kindly correct the really bad errors. If someone denies the deity of Jesus, you don't want to just skip over that. And certain theological issues are too important to allow your group to go forward in confusion about those things. But if somebody does bring up something like that, you don't want to blame them or to make them feel like an idiot or make a big federal case over what they said. You can redirect it and you can jump in maybe with kindness and say, hey, I appreciate why you would think that way. I appreciate why you would say what you said. And I'm glad that you are tackling this question. Let me take a minute and just clarify what the Bible says about that. And then related to that, finally, be willing to discuss further outside of the group. When someone spouts bad theology in your group, that's a signal that you or your co-leader need to go and follow up with them, because you don't want to leave them believing bad theology or believing faulty ideas forever. So share a conversation from pursueGOD.org that's relevant to the topic, and then meet with them and talk about it afterwards. So here's the bottom line. You don't want to respond to a bad answer that someone gives in a way that shuts them down or makes them not want to come back to the group. Because if we keep people involved and engaged in group life, then they're going to have an opportunity to discover and process God's truth for themselves.